Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
There.
We really
Gino and I are very proud and very pleased to be working with you. You've taken great care of us.
Thank you.
And taking care of our families now. Because
So
you're
we're
setting
trying.
us up with our living trust, and our state's going to be a lot more happy about that.
I think so. I think so.
No doubt. So, and Lisa, you're part of America's Professional Resource Group now. Share with us what your experience has been with that group.
Well, it's been amazing so far. I actually worked with Gino recently on my own home refinance, and I got to tell you, it was one of the most positive refinance experiences I've ever had.
Wait, a lot of people feel that's an oxymoron.
I know, I know, but
can
you know,
be.
Yeah.
I gave Gino a goal in mind, and instead of just telling me it wasn't possible, he went and found a way to make it possible, and it was awesome.
Now,
So-
you talked to 2 other lenders that didn't give you that same advice?
No, actually.
See, that's the difference. So, and I applaud you because it's the same thing. You listen. You actually find out what the true goals of the individual is or their family.
Yep.
And our whole group at America's Professional Resource Group, I can honestly say they all are that dedicated and that they take that much care about you and your family. So go to aprgi.com, America's Professional Resource Group, aprgi.com. They're local professionals that are accountable to you and helping guide you and your family to personal financial wellness.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, because honestly, that's what I told you when we were
Oh, yeah,
talking.
good
I said,
job.
what are your goals? I
Yep.
said, what are you trying to achieve here? And you know, there's a lot of products out there that are good for a company or good for a loan originator, or it's almost like in the life insurance business. Remember in the life insurance business when everybody was putting everybody into
Yeah.
annuities, or everybody
Or
was
term.
putting everybody into whole life, or everybody, well, whatever was paying the most, that's what they were putting everybody into.
Right.
And so the mortgage business is really no different, other than it's not pay related, but it's the simplicity, right?
Oh, it
So-
was when you had those little 1%
well, back in the
loans.
day, yeah, but
When
not
you-
now.
I got a loan for 1%. I'm like, no,
you
you didn't.
Yeah. But today, there are some products out there that are easier to originate. So a lot of times people do things out of simplicity's sake.
Yep.
And it sounds good on the phone. You say, hey, this is going to be easy. You don't have to do anything. And I said, well, does it help you really achieve your goals? I mean, yeah, it's okay, but there's a better product out there if you really think about it.
You know, and we want to make sure you get proper guidance. Remember, that's always our goal. So you can also visit us at Skyline Home Loans and go to SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. We're experts out here, and we really care. And you can find out more about all our professionals. They're amazing here in the office. All the staff, they're happy. They care about you. They ask the right questions. They smile. How about that? So we can. They've always been nice, right? Everybody you work with.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Very cool.
All right, and you can find our reviews in case you want to check out the reviews. They're all solid. We're very happy and pleased. And they're real reviews, by the way. They actually get submitted online. They aren't ones that we wrote.
No, and you know how you know they're real reviews? How difficult it is to get reviews because people have to sign up and fill out the form and do all that. So for someone to take time out of their busy schedule, because everybody we work with is typically busy, and actually take the time to fill out a review, we're very thankful for that.
No doubt. And we're thankful for you joining us again, Lisa.
Thanks.
So we have 5 minutes left. So let's go into what are the ramifications with not having an estate plan, other than you just blew it. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Well, certainly, like I said earlier, it's a chaos avoider. So there's possible chaos when you become incapacitated or you pass away. Who's going to pay the bills? Who's going to watch the children? Who's going to get access to monies? Who's going to even just let your boss know and just everything? I mean, somebody's got to take the reins, and having to go into court to make this happen. I mean, I don't know if anybody followed, but the California court system is slow and it is bogged down, and you can't make anything happen quickly. So you need a
Sounds like our competition.
Exactly. I mean, you know that's a big issue in my view. Is chaos is just
No
the
doubt.
chaos.
That's huge. Without it, because I've heard about it a lot. I've seen it a lot. I mean, there's whole estates gone because of the
absolutely.
infighting and the bickering and the attorney fees maybe get involved.
Oh,
Besides
absolutely.
probate fees.
I can't tell you how often we will have conversations about how the only people who won are the attorneys. And I that bothers me. And it doesn't bother me that the attorney made that kind of money because they did the work. But it bothers me that they could have set it up separately and in advance so that this result was avoided. And a good attorney, that's what their goal is. My goal for every single client is to never have to have those kinds of fees, to never have to go into a probate. Obviously, to your question, what happens if you don't have a plan? Probate, as we touched on earlier, is the big one. Also, if you don't have a plan, who gets your assets? I mean, this is a huge issue.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a huge issue in this day and age of blended families. I mean, it comes up most commonly in blended families, where that's where we see the most fighting. You talked about infighting. It's one thing when you have a sibling who you were born with, and you were raised with that person, and there's a love generally amongst siblings that is super strong.
At least you'll pretend to.
At least you'll pretend.
Okay.
But sometimes with a step sibling, there's not so much love.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is. That would be a gross overgeneralization to say that there is never. But a lot
I get it. Right.
And the other result is sometimes, if you're on your second marriage and you've been married to that spouse for a long time, you still want to protect them, even though you might have children from a prior marriage. Yeah. And so it cuts both ways. You got to really think about, and this is where listening to your client matters. What is my goal? Do I want to protect my wife so that she has the rest of her life, she's protected, and then give the rest of the money to my children? And how do I make that happen? And it is a very tricky thing. And we have seen it in our own practice where there was a first spouse, there was a second spouse, and the craziness that can happen. We had a life insurance policy that listed an ex-spouse. Right. 30 years that those two spouses had been divorced. Thankfully, it was the mother of the intended beneficiary. So we were able to get some things worked out, and we were able to get that money to the intended beneficiary. But these are the types of things that we talk about with our clients. Are you sure you've properly designated your beneficiaries? Even just thinking about all of the assets that you have, these are all things that come up when we're estate planning, so we can make sure we're protecting your assets. So, but also, if you don't have anything, what happens? Who gets your property? Well, California intestate succession laws apply, and that's basically, for lack of a better word, it's basically if you think about the bloodline, who's closest in you in bloodline. So for most people, it's obviously your children first, then your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren before it goes back up to your parents, then to your siblings, then to your nieces and nephews, cousins, and down that line. So it's really on how close you are.
All right. A lot of you are probably like me going, wow. I need somebody to help me with this. Because it's kind of like I know when we go through the loans. Well, when you do this and the DTI and the LTV and the CLTV, and you're like, whatever, I just stop making a rap song. The bottom line is we only have a minute here, and I want to make sure that all of you at least consider talking to an estate planner. It will change your life and that of your entire family. Your children, your spouse, your siblings, down the line. It is imperative. It has changed Gino's my life. I'm really pleased and proud we finally did it. And actually, if you can see me, I'm kicking my own butt for it taking this long. So how can they get a hold of you, Lisa?
You can email us at info at mcdowellodom.com. You can call at 661-449-9630.
Website?
Website is www.mcdowellodom.com, and that's spelled McDowellodom.com.
Well, great job, as always, enlightening us. I always learn something. I know you do, Gino.
Yeah, in fact, don't forget, you can also check her out at aprgi.com.
No doubt about it. So please join us every Saturday, 9 a.m., right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHES. Check us out more at donandgino.com, and check out our new national post that'll give you updates on everything regarding finance and interest rates and housing at nrecafe.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.